So we are at the site of the Detroit Lakes Water Tower, our primary water tower site, home of the existing tower and soon to be new tower that we're working on construction. So over the last month, Landmark Construction out of Texas, who's our contractor for the project, has been working on finishing out the concrete pedestal, which is the round cylinder that you see in the background, and that's constructed entirely of concrete, and its values to support the steel bowl that goes on top of that. So they finished up the pedestal. They finished up the concrete roof on top of the pedestal, which actually serves as the bottom of the tank. And now for the last several weeks, they've been working on the steel bowl fabrication, which is the large steel structure that's currently on the ground, but eventually this steel bowl will be sitting on top of the concrete pedestal. So sometime right now scheduled for late winter, early spring, they'll actually hoist this steel bowl from its current position right up over the pedestal and mount it to the top of that using steel and concrete and other things like that. And then they'll finish putting the roof of the steel bowl on once it's up and in place. So that's sort of the long view of it. In the next, right now they're just finishing up the steel fabrication. There's actually a process they come in, and there's a contractor that comes in and uses what's called radiography. It's x-rays, and they're x-raying welds, which ensures that the welds are structurally sound, don't have any voids or other deficiencies to them. So they do a bunch of testing on all the welds just to make sure they're exactly what we need them to be. They're finishing that up. They got a few little corrections, and then the steel fabrication is actually just about ready to wind down for now. Be a little pause in the action, and sometimes towards the early part of September, a whole nother crew comes in and they start what they call the ground coating phase. And so they will paint and coat as much of the steel structure on the ground as they can. So everything that we're seeing here on the exterior all gets sandblasted and gets coated. It'll get the graphic applied to it on the ground. Then that'll stay there. Still some plan to do some site utility work yet this year, which would be the large water mains that come from the tank out to the water system on either side of the site. So some of that work is still going to happen this year, and then we'll break for winter for a little bit and resume work in the spring. So it's a big structure, a lot of steel. The bowl that you see is about 50 feet in height, and it's some large steel. The steel towards the bottom of the cone is about an inch thick, and it progressively gets thinner up to the top where the steel is about a quarter inch thick. So it's still some thick steel at the top, but a lot of steel.
Tell me next steps. What happens with this big baby? So
this will stay in place and still function really probably until the later part of next summer. Once all the work is done on this, and there's still, after the bowl gets up and they put the roof on, and then they finish coating the exterior of the roof, there's still interior coating on that tank that has to happen. And there's a whole lot of process piping inside the tank and different accessories that have to go in place. Valves and monitoring systems, mixing systems, things like that, sort of all the ancillary stuff that goes into making the tower work like it's supposed to. All of that has to happen. Site restoration has to happen, and then we start to fill it. And there's a process in filling it and ensuring that everything's what it needs to be. We don't have any drips or leaks or other issues. And once we're satisfied with that, then we will actually commission the tank, switch things over, drain the existing tank, and they will demolish the existing tank probably close to this time next year, maybe slightly later, so maybe a little more than a year from now. this tank will cease to exist. And actually, it's this tank and the standpipe water tower that is over on Shorewood Drive that will also be coming down as part of this project.
A lot of it, you were saying on the last show, is like recycled or reused?
Yep,
or...
they will salvage most of the steel. Obviously, there's a whole lot of steel in the old tank as well, so there's some scrap value to that. So those contractors generally cut it up and haul it in for salvage, and that metal will get reutilized somewhere.
Will community know, like, if there's any pause in their service? There
should be absolutely no indication or any sort of interruption whatsoever. When the way we'll fill both of these sort of simultaneously, there shouldn't be any impact to anybody's service. What folks might notice is as we begin to fill this tank, one of the objectives of the project was to increase the system water pressure just slightly, about 10 psi. So this tank is about 25 feet roughly taller than the existing tank, and that additional height is what will allow our system pressure to get just slightly higher than it is. So if you're in an area of town right now that doesn't have really great water pressure, you will see an improvement in that. Everybody will see an improvement, but the folks with lower water pressure are probably going to notice it a little bit more.
Nice. Anything else you want to share?
No, we're working on potentially pinning down the date of when this will be raised, and if we can do some sort of a public event for when they actually raise the bowl up over the course of a day. But more information to come on that.
All right, and let me know because we'll be here.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.